The views and opinions on this show do not necessarily reflect the views of ESPN Tucson 1490 AM, 94.9 HD Channel 4, or the Arizona Lotus Corporation.
Welcome to Spears and Ali on ESPN Tucson.
Justin Spears, I like that.
With Justin Spears and Ali Farhang on 1490 AM, 94.9 HD Channel 4, ESPN Tucson. Brought to you by Tucson Federal Credit Union, the Volpe team at Nova Home Loans, and Rightway Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
I want to be entertaining, but I'm not stupid enough to compare myself to Ali.
You're listening to Spears and Ali here on ESPN Tucson, 1490 AM, 94.9 HD Channel 4. The Spears and Ali podcast on Apple and Spotify. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and comment today. And also check us out on YouTube. Subscribe to the Spears and Ali YouTube channel today. We are presented by the Volpe team at Nova Home Loans, Rightway Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, and Tucson Federal Credit Union. And got a special guest joining us, Danny Gonzales, Arizona football defensive coordinator. Danny G, what's going on, man?
That's great day. Glad for having me on. Good morning, Tucson. Justin Ali, thank you guys for having us on. Thank you for this wonderful show you guys put on every day. I mean, I'm just delighted to be here.
Heck yeah, man. So you're now taking over the defense. What has it been like for you just to lead Arizona's defense? And from the time that you took over the defense to now, what's that experience been like?
Well, it all comes down to players, and we've got a great group of kids right now. Obviously, they believe in what we're doing because they had a bunch of people trying to get them to escape Tucson, and they wouldn't leave. So they believe in what we're doing. We're excited about the opportunity to go out there and play good defense. I can tell you this, they're going to play hard, they're going to be violent, and we're going to get after people. And with Coach Daggy on the other side, very similar mentality. We're going to have a really physical football team, and this season is going to be a lot of fun.
And speaking of Coach Daggy, you talked about it after the spring, the competition that you guys had with the offense and the defense, and his style of coaching, the up-tempo, no huddle. How does that prepare your defense for what you guys are about to face in the Big 12 this upcoming season?
We'll see a lot of that throughout the season, so it helps us. Just like what we do on defense is kind of uncommon, so it puts our offense in a lot of situations where they'll be able to block everything. I mean, they'll be able to identify stuff that typically they don't ever see. So when they got 15 practices at it, obviously they got better during the spring. I think, like you said, Coach Daggy's got the mentality to go fast, do all those things. But the best thing about Coach Daggy is he understands team football. And if there's moments where we need to friggin' run the ball and shove it down people's throat, if you go back and watch Marshall's film from last year, I mean, they ran quarterback counter over and over because people couldn't stop it. So the air raid principles that Coach Daggy grew up under are unbelievable, but his aspiration to win football games is even better than that. And that's why, I mean, the competition in the office, whether it's selling season tickets, whether it's out on the grass, whatever it is, it's always something between us, and it's a lot of fun. And I think it bleeds off into our kids. I mean, we've got a great deal right now between the offense and defense going against each other, but the camaraderie of those guys hanging out together when they're not in football really is going to make a big difference with our football team.
We're talking with the Arizona football defensive coordinator, Danny Gonzales, here on Spears and Ali. And Danny, when the season ended, what was the mindset as far as adding players and getting the right guys in the building to complement what you were bringing back for next year's defense?
Well, obviously with all the injuries that we went through last year, we weren't deep enough on either side of the ball. I mean, when you lose 9 guys to season-ending injuries, when those guys that came in, now they gained some experience, but they obviously weren't good enough to compete at a high level in the Big 12. And the Big 12 from top to bottom is a very competitive league. So if you can stay healthy, you've got a chance to make a run like those guys up north did. We addressed that issue. We're significantly deeper across the board. I thought the offensive did a great job. Now, there's still some development going on in the the offensive line. On defense, the defensive line, we have a significant upgrade inside. I mean, Tia Savea, who's coming back, who was here in 23 during that magic run. He's had a phenomenal spring and even better summer. I mean, when they showed back up, they got about 3 weeks off in May, and he came back maybe in better shape than when he left, which is unbelievable for a 300-pound defensive lineman. Deshaun McKnight up front also. Those two guys did a phenomenal job in spring, and they're going to cause some people some serious trouble in the Big 12, which is awesome. Those guys make what happened in the back end even better, because no matter how good those guys are in the back end, if you can't hit the quarterback, people are too good today throwing the ball with all the 7-on-7s and all those things. It doesn't matter how talented you are in the back end if you're getting no pressure on the quarterback. So we're going to beat the tar out of some quarterbacks this year and give those guys an opportunity to steal some interceptions in the back end. And as talented as they are, that group's going to be fun. And we had everybody in the world trying to get Traden Stukes and Marquise Groves Killebrew and all those. I mean, Marquise, he left in January, was gone for a couple of days and came back. So they believe in what we're doing. And if we can create some stuff up front and then in the middle of our defense with Max Harris, Riley Wilson, Chase Kennedy, Tay Brown, we've got a significant upgrade at linebacker. And some of those guys can come off the edge. Some of those guys can come up the middle. So we're going to give some people some trouble that we didn't last year. And then we have the talent in the back end. Obviously, we have to stay healthy and play with the guys that we're talking about, the Jensen Smith. I mean, Jensen Smith could be the best defensive football player in this league this year if he does the things that he did in spring ball. So I'm really excited about what we did in the portal on our side of the ball. We've got a little bit more depth than we had last year. We do need to have some luck to stay healthy, which every good football team does. And that's the direction we're headed. And the violent mentality that these guys have adopted. I mean, playing hard has never been a deal here since I've been here. I mean, they played hard last year. We just didn't have enough talent and a big enough hammer to swing and cause damage.
And the defensive line, I wanted to go back to those guys because Arizona hired Big Joe Salavea. You've had the chance to work with him for the last several months. How do you think his coaching and his direction is going to get that unit back on track?
Well, I'm gonna hurt some feelings, and it's unintended. But in the 28 years I've been doing this, Joe Salavea is the best D-line coach I've ever been around, and I've been around some good ones.
Wow.
What he does both on the field and off the field in recruiting our players on our team, recruiting for the upcoming class. I mean, I've had to go against him because he's been a West Coast guy until he got to Miami. And those battles were always, I mean, to the very end. And you never, I mean, it was, if you're not doing something, he is. And so even knowing that, even more so being on the same team, he's been a significant upgrade to our football staff across the board. And those guys are going to play hard. They're going to be violent. He's as good a technician as he is a recruiter. And all the stuff you hear about how wonderful a recruiter he is, I mean, just put all that stuff on steroids. And so we're very blessed to have him here. And it's been a lot of fun. I mean, outside of the football coach and the recruiter and all those things, as a person, I mean, as a man of faith, he's brought so much to our staff. I mean, it's been a blast.
And you mentioned Tia Savea and Deshaun McKnight as some spring standouts. Who are some other guys, or maybe you can talk about more about those guys and what they showed you, but who are some other players that really just made a huge jump in the spring that are setting themselves up for a good 2025 season?
Well, Trey Smith, I mean, he was a bull in a china cabinet last year. I mean, there wasn't very many people in the Big 12 that could stop him getting to the quarterback if he bull rushed and went right through people because he's so strong and powerful. And Coach Salavea Salavea has added some tools to Trey Smith's game, which is going to be really impressive when we get to the fall. Some of the line stunts and movements that he's been able to work with Trey, I mean, foot, pad level hand, I mean, all that stuff has been unbelievable. So he had a really good spring, and we kept him out of a lot of the live contact stuff so that Trey is fully healthy when we get to the season. Dom Lalesio had a really solid spring. He had a bunch of people trying to get him to leave Tucson, and he believes in Coach Salavea and what we're doing. And then you talked about the two inside, Tia and Deshaun. Those guys are both 300 to 310 pounds. They're as twitchy as some of the DBs. They're powerful. They're strong. I mean, I am so excited about that group up front because when you can do things with four guys, you got a chance to be damn good on defense. And I spouted off a lot of stuff at the beginning of spring, talking about top 15 and all those things. And I believe in my heart that, I mean, if you don't believe in yourself and you don't believe in what you're doing, why do anything? Yeah. And now you got to be able to back it up because if you're going to open your big mouth, you better perform out there on the field. And those guys that are going to go out there on the other side of that white line where I don't get to go, they believe in what we're doing and those depth pieces that we've added. Now, inside also, Leroy Palu, a kid that we beat West Virginia on that was actually committed to West Virginia and decided to jump ship and come back here. He had a really good spring. He's 310 pounds, and he's just a baby. I mean, he's a sophomore in the realm of things. So this month right now, between June and the end of the 4th of July, we have to get so much stronger than we were. And those guys have done a great job already. Now, we made a lot of strides in the weight room about just brute strength before we got to spring ball. But I'm a firm believer that we have to be able to swing a sledgehammer, and it's got to hurt. Because if it doesn't hurt, I mean, you're not going to beat people into submission and do all the things that we talk about. At linebacker, Chase Kennedy had a great year up front on the D-line last year. We moved him off the ball. He got better during spring. What he's good at is being up front and rushing the passer. And we can do some things where we take him off the ball and send him inside. But you're going to see Chase Kennedy come off the edge and create some problems. Now, we've got packages where we're going to have 4 D linemen in there. We got packages where we're going to have 3 D linemen and 3 linebackers in there. We got packages where we're going to have 2 D linemen and I mean, similar to the dollar and some of those things. I mean, we got so many opportunities with the guys that we recruited that people are going to have a hell of a time preparing in a week for what we do. And then if we have that violent intent behind it, I mean, we're going to be a problem. And that's exciting. Now, the biggest thing I'm excited about, I mean, if you look back at the stuff that we've done between New Mexico in the early 2000s, San Diego State, I mean, we had a run where we were 8-1 against Power 5 schools. And now this was before the transfer portal, so they couldn't leave. We locked them up, and they were stuck for 5 years. So they got better and better every year, and the continuity and development was a big-time thing. And then I went to that other school up north and went from 130th in the country in defense. I mean, they were second to last in the total country in defense. We jumped all the way up to a top 25 defense. And then at New Mexico, during a COVID year, especially with New Mexico, where we got kicked out of the state and had to go play in Las Vegas, Nevada, we finished in the top 40 in total defense. And they hadn't done that since we left in 2006. And those kind of things, I mean, we show those in recruiting. We show those guys to our current guys, and they see the proof. And then all of a sudden they start doing things in practice, and they see this stuff works. And you just get that sparkle in their eye, like, oh, we're going to hurt people. Like, this is going to be a problem for a lot of people. So that belief and getting that belief from my heart and my brain to those guys was easy. And now that we have enough talent, because you don't have to have the most talent, but you have to have enough talent. And if you have enough talent, then it's up to the coaches to create those opportunities for those guys to be great.
And Genesis Smith, going back to him, you mentioned that he could be one of the best defensive players in the Big 12. What about his skill set and his frame gives you those expectations for him?
For a kid that wasn't recruited like he should have been out of high school, and for the fact that he stuck out and been here and stayed in Tucson, and then all the wonderful things that he's doing for this community between his I mean, he started a foundation. He started an LLC. I mean, he gave Christmas to 12 families through his foundation that otherwise wouldn't have had a Christmas. And that's just the kind of person he is off the field. Now, on the field, he's 6'3". He's right now at about 212 pounds. He's a 41-inch vertical guy. He's a high 4'4", low 4'5", 40 guy. And his quick twitch is unbelievable. So when I was at my first year at New Mexico being a GA, Brian Urlacher played that spot, the bear spot where we have Genesis. He led the nation with 178 tackles and ended up being the 9th pick in the NFL draft. Now, am I saying that Genesis Smith is Brian Urlacher? I'm not. He's more athletic and more talented than what Bryant was when it comes to physical nature, and Brian was a freak.
Yeah.
But Genesis has that mold to be that guy. And the things that we can do with that guy, because you can put Genesis on a slot and cover the number 3 receiver, and he's going to lock him down man to man. We were not able to do that with Brian. And so those kind of things open up the package even more because he can blitz. You can put him up there at your middle linebacker at 7 to 8 yards. He can be your free safety. I mean, he can do it all. And so where we put him, I mean, when people break us down on the week, they're going to have a number 12, and that dude's going to be in the middle of the field. He's going to be up in the front. He's going to be sometimes out of corner. I mean, that dude's going to be everywhere. So it's going to, the GAs and all those people that are breaking that down, they're going to be like, Coach, I don't know what the hell they do with that guy. He's everywhere. And so it's exciting to be able to have somebody that talented that can do those things. And then the picture, they can't just find it off of one guy. And we're going to move around a lot. I mean, we're going to be very static. There's going to be times where you see all 11 guys standing on 2 feet, and they're going to come from everywhere. And so those kind of things are, I mean, it's fun for the kids. It's exciting. And then when you have guys like Genesis and Traden and Marquise in the back end that can move around and do those things, and you have some hammers up front like Tia and Deshaun and Trey and Dom and Chase, I mean, And then the name that people in Tucson aren't going to forget, I mean, Riley Wilson, who played at Montana, who started at Hawaii. That dude is, I mean, he's been about 75% as old because he had a couple of sports hernias that we repaired. That dude at 100% is going to be, I mean, it's going to be a name that Tucson remembers for a long time.
Got a couple more for you, Coach. So EA Sports College Football 26, they're adding coaches, not only Brent Brennan, but I believe you're going to be in the game too. What do you think about being in a video game, and what have they told you about that process?
Well, they must have taken it off of our contracts because they have me down as Daniel Gonzales. I don't know anybody other than my parents when I was in trouble and was a little kid that called me Daniel. So I'm going to have to make a call into EA Sports to see if we can switch that to Danny. I think that's really cool. I mean, those people are smart. I mean, anything that'll sell money. I mean, I've got nephews now that want to buy the game solely that they can put a freaking hat on me backwards because I will not wear a hat backwards and all that. Ty Nichols sent me a message the other day. He's like, Coach, I'm going to dress you up with shorts on the sideline. I'm like, stop it. Like, all this stuff is nonsense. So it's pretty cool that they're smart. They found a way to make money. I mean, they probably sold another 50 copies to my family just because they want to friggin' send me screenshots of what they did to me. So, I mean, it's fun. And, I mean, that's pretty cool stuff. I mean, as a little kid, I would have never thought that I had any chance to be in that football game. They put us in when we were players, and then, but we didn't get our names on it. They just used our number and similar likeness when I was a player, which was a long time ago. And now that they got our actual name and they make it look like us, I'm kind of excited to see how they make me look. I mean, hopefully they took some pictures in my better shape than worse shape. So we'll see.
All right. Lastly for us, Coach, what was it like hosting the Extraordinary Cats Camp for kids with disabilities? And also just kind of looking ahead to the summer, tell us about your summer plans at the facility with, the 7-on-7 camps and all the recruits that you guys are hosting.
Well, we'll start with the Extraordinary Cats. So obviously near and dear to my heart because I have a 11-year-old that has Down. Or sorry, excuse me. Abby just turned. We'll have 11 and 13 here pretty short between Chloe and Abby. But our 11-year-old Abby, who just turned 11 in March, February 28th. Holy cow, I'm going to get ridiculed by this one. On February 28th, when she was born, my wife was obviously she had Down syndrome, and we've been she's going to be in a gen ed classroom with typical peers. I mean, that whole mainstream, she's just, her Down syndrome doesn't define her. It's a part of who she is. And individuals with Down syndrome, they're good at certain things. They're not good at certain things. Just like I'm good at certain things. I'm not good at certain things. So my wife saw Christian McCaffrey and his dad had a camp for individuals with Down syndrome, football camp, a week-long football camp. And my wife was like, we got to do something like this. And we were at San Diego State at the time. And I told my wife, if I ever become a head coach, we will do that. And so when I got to New Mexico, we had an opportunity, but then we had COVID. And then we came off 20 and 21 where we couldn't do anything within the state because we couldn't gather large people. When we finally got the go-ahead in 22, we started, it was called Extraordinary Lobos. And we had about 40 people show up. It was really fun. The next year it doubled. And it gives any individual with an opportunity, with a disability, have an opportunity to come out there and do some football things, do some drills, be with our football players. The first year we actually had it from 5 to 18 was the age limit. And a gentleman showed up to the table, and we're talking to the kids as they're coming in, and he hands me his registration form. And says, I kind of laughed, and I said, is this for your kiddo? And he goes, no, Coach, I'm 18. He was 62 years old. He had Down syndrome. It was phenomenal. So I'm like, you know what? We're taking rid of the age limit. You come on in. He just wanted to be a part of the camp. Because individuals with disabilities oftentimes do not get this experience. There's not a lot out there for the opportunities for that. So that opportunity blew up. And then when I got here, we talked about Coach Brennan, and he had wanted to do something like this when he was at San Jose State. And he's like, can we continue this? And I said, I was asking you, can we continue this? Like, this is something that I want to do wherever we go, and then just continue and leave it behind. And so we had our first one. We had 62 individuals that signed up. They came, and our football players did a phenomenal job. We had throwing competitions. We had a kickball competition, those Walmart kickballs. They were trying to kick field goals with those. We had relay races down at one end. We had an obstacle course. And seeing those, I mean, they never get the environment where people are cheering them on and doing all those things. The Special Olympics, we took some of those things from them to give them opportunities. And so our kids did a phenomenal job of creating that atmosphere. And it was a wonderful evening. I mean, Abby had a blast. The experience that we try to create is what the magic that was in that stadium in 23 when the team won 10 games. And to do it in the indoor and have those opportunities, it was a blast. So we're going to continue to do it every year. The idea next year, hopefully, and then we did this in New Mexico, the individuals that register, they get to pick one of our players. And we'll pick a game during the season where they represent that individual with their last name on the back of their jersey. And then after the game, we present that jersey to them and the family, because those kids will never be Division I athletes and they'll never be in a stadium like that. But they can be represented for one night in a 50,000 seat stadium and making an experience that family will never forget. And then they hang that jersey up just like our players do when they're done playing. So we're going to continue to grow this thing and make it just unbelievable. And the community of Tucson, I mean, the Southern Arizona Down Syndrome Network, it's called SANS, was really awesome and all the marketing that they did for it. We're going to continue to blow this thing up and just make it as big as we can. And any individual with a disability, doesn't matter what age, what disability, we want everybody to be involved and just come on out and have a great time.
Heck yeah. All right, that is Arizona defensive coordinator Danny Gonzales joining Spears and Ali on ESPN Tucson. It's going to be a busy summer for the Cats as they get ready for the 2025 season. Season opener, August 30th against the Hawaii Warriors. You get your tickets today. Danny G, always a pleasure talking with you. Thank you for joining us, man.
Hey, shoot, anytime you want me on, just hit me up. Shoot me a text. I mean, shoot Jeff Bo a text, and I love talking Arizona ball.
Yes, sir.
We're right in the middle of all this recruiting stuff now. We got official visits for the next 3 weeks here in June. We got camps. We got a camp on Wednesday, a 7-on-7 camp, big man camp. So, I mean, the Wildcats are friggin' on fire right now all over the city of Tucson, all over. I mean, you're going to see recruits out, Culinary Dropout, Corbett. You're going to see all those places. I mean, Charles Steakhouse downtown. So when you see our coaches, you see our football players out there, come on over and say hi. It has a huge impact on our recruits when they get welcomed by the city of Tucson. What you guys do, I mean, this radio show, I mean, all the media, you guys are phenomenal. Even when you talk bad about us, I mean, not saying you, Justin, but everybody. I'm talking about it. It doesn't matter. Fans on 247, on Spears, on Iron Mike, Luke. I mean, all those things. Please keep talking, even if it's negative. It does not matter because that means you care. And if you care, that gives us a chance to recreate what they did in 23 in that stadium. When you don't care is when you're in trouble. And the city of Tucson cares about the Wildcats, whether it be basketball, whether it be football, whether it be Chip Hale and his boys getting ready to go crush North Carolina in the Super Regional. I mean, all those things. We were watching 14. I'm sorry if I'm going over on you, but those 14 runs against Utah Valley and then 14 against Cal Poly, our boys are, 12 home runs in 2 games. The sticks are on fire. I mean, the city of Tucson has got something really special brewing here. I'm really excited to be here and be a part of it. So when you see us out of town, come on over and say hi. It makes a big deal on those kids.
All right, I'm going to go run through a wall, Danny. All right,
I love it.
Y'all take care. Danny, we appreciate your time, man. Thank you.
Bear down.